What's good, everybody? It's your boy Chuck Diesel checking in for another episode of Sake Sundays. We gotta say a special thank you to our sponsors, Sake High, for providing us with this sugar-free, additive-free, and gluten-free source of goodness. Oh, it's hand brewed and made in Japan. Go ahead and check them out. I got a link below. Sake High. Drink Sake High. And along with that, we got to say another thank you to our other sponsor, God's Favorite Jewels. Got me right with my bracelets, and my ports. And we have this piece here for our guests, some lapis.
How'd you know? Look at that. Can I add it to my collection?
I mean,
This is beautiful.
thank you.
Thank you.
God's Favorite Jewels. It's just a physical reminder that you can wear every day, that we're all his favorite.
Nice. I love it. Thank you.
What all do you have on your wrists?
You have to remember all the names of it.
Yeah.
I know there's like some tiger iron. There's some lava. There's some also some kind of stuff.
I got you into Vinstones.
It's I like how it looks. I like the energy. I'm more about stones instead of silver. Well, I mean, I love silver and gold too. Yeah, I don't know, like maybe for something like from the earth. Yeah. Plus, like gems are all made with pressure. I think like with pressure, the best comes out. I don't know. It's a metaphor in there, so.
You got the bracelet as a reminder of the pressure it takes.
Exactly. It's beautiful inside. If you look at a stone, sometimes like some of these stones, like the most precious gems, or even like the I forget the names of everything when I get chatty, but those Brazilian stones that they get cut and opened up.
Like gemstones? Like, well,
Well, basically all gemstones are kind of like just the stones,
geometric?
right? And
They're not geometric.
in the middle, there's a lot of them in Brazil where you can buy them at the markets and stuff.
We've been to the markets and been little.
Wow, I have to go.
Well, she was like, let me start on that quick to change the topic.
But my point is like, they're all, when you get like, cause here they're expensive, like
That's the story.
but they stand up and you see the inside of them. And when you look at the outside, it's just a stone, and I feel like we can be all pretty on the outside and stuff like that, but what's in the inside needs pressure to build up to be beautiful. It's a metaphor. It doesn't matter.
Look, no metaphor has to have a perfect total resolution.
Yeah. So those I have the same microphones.
Oh, you do?
The Rhodes,
It's a baby version.
the baby version, or
It was inspired by.
inspired by Rhodes.
So,
I got the GoPros. I never used them though. Sure.
yeah, I get it.
I thought you were past today. Okay. Cheers. Like no fingerprints.
Silly.
Okay.
No.
Like it wasn't him.
I have a friend who's like, I'm not responsible for making you drink. I
Okay.
guess I poured it. He usually won't even pour it.
Like that.
Like, if you're gonna drink, you pour and pick up your own cup. Because I didn't get, like, I don't make people drink. I drink myself. And if you want to drink with me, we could drink together. But you're not gonna say, I always drink. No, you don't. You poured it yourself.
I mean, that's, I get that, but I'm like, you offered, and then I said yes.
No, but this is different. This is
Yeah,
different. He's
yeah.
like, I'm never responsible for either grown man. All right. But other people are like, you drink it, right? Let's get drunk. You have friends who are like peer pressure.
Well, I mean, I get peer pressure, but I've never gotten into peer pressure like that. Oh, I'm going to drink because you made me drink.
Nah, and I would be that
Pressure,
shit.
usually it's like people talk me into like going out or something. Like, come on, let's go.
Whenever anybody ever tried to peer pressure me into drinking, I would be like, I already wanted to drink, bro. So chill.
Is that
I'll drink it with you.
No, I'm quick of like after two or so, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like I used to be a pothead, like I can't say no to a blunt. Like if you're passing a blunt, and I'm awake, I'll wake up real quick just to suck the blood and then I'll let me sleep.
Hey, we haven't even introduced you.
Yeah.
We started talking and didn't even introduce you.
What, you don't know me?
Silly. If you heard her, you already know who she is.
I'm Venus Leone, or how do you introduce people?
I'll let you say it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here, look, let's do it all over.
Let's do it all over again.
All right, so we're here today for episode of Soccer Saturdays. We got Soccer High and we got God's Favorite Jewels. But that brings us to our most important part of today's episode, our guests.
I'm Venus Leone, Leone. If you could say Beyonce, you can say Leone. You know, most people say Leo.
So they can say it again.
Yeah, they say Leone because of the E.
It's like it's
Drop the E.
Sierra Leone.
Well, Sierra Leone is the original.
Is that what hers is too? And we've just been messing it up all this?
Yeah, like definitely. I mean, here you say Sierra Leone, but like it's originally Italian, so
You're
it's like
supposed to say accent.
Leone is
Are you Italian?
French. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Half and half
What's other?
Italian, half Afro-Brazilian. Grew up in Switzerland.
Yeah. All over your place. That's the goal.
Not really. It's just happened.
That's it. You feel like even people who don't want to work for you.
It's just happened. You know, no, I don't want to take over the world. That's too much pressure.
You're just talking about pressure being there.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes it breaks. You know what I'm saying? You can't be pressured too much, it breaks.
So the right amount of thing.
Not too much power, you know? Like too much power explodes.
You sip the shot.
I take the shot. Yeah. It's sake. It's not, no, it's sake. American with their shots, man. We'll shot everything. You'll be like a cup of wine, like, let me shot the.
Yeah, you can.
No, I sip on a Hennessy. It's like, it's too
See, Henny is strong. You said Henny is too good.
Henny is too good to be like, you know, tequila, sure. Like, I'm not sipping on tequila.
Henny is too good. I've never.
Henny is too good to not sip on it. It's like, you know, whiskey, Henny, you know, you got to sip.
See, I'll sip on my whiskey. You're not sipping Henny.
No, you got to sip on the Henny.
You ain't sipping.
I got that French connection with like a little bit of.
Oh, you love cognac?
Well, you know, Henny is cognac.
That's what I'm sipping.
Yeah, so, but if you mix it with like, you know, I mean, there's different way of mixing it to make a French connection, but I guess that.
Oh, that's the name of a drink.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you personally had a French connection.
No, it's not. The name of the drink is French connection when you mix like two cognacs or like you mix it with amaretto, then it gets like extra sweet.
So you're saying you need to put me on and you're going to make me a drink. I've never had this.
I mean, you got some Hennessy and some amaretto. Where's your bar at? You know?
We're actually getting it installed right there next week.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so next week I'll make you a
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Tell us about your artistry.
My artistry. Well, I make music. I do paint. I come from dance. I started dancing when I was 4.
Oh, wow. Prolific.
But make my main money from being an engineer and sound engineer. I wish I was like the other engineer.
She builds airplanes.
Yeah, I build airplanes. I would love to do that. I'm studying physics though. When I get to, and sometimes I do accent coaching, teach languages and stuff. So yeah.
How'd you get into that?
Like, well, I speak languages being mixed, having grown up in different countries and sometime out of necessity, looking for work, trying to be on a hustle, but not trying to be in a strip club because that's not going to work for me. It doesn't work for me.
Music, tried and tested.
I'm not going to lie. I did Crazy Girls before it got remodeled. You know, Crazy Girls it's like a bikini bar on La Brea and Sunset.
Yes.
That was like 20 years ago, or maybe less, 18 years ago. I heard the rumor, because I was still living in Switzerland, so I heard the rumor there was such a thing here as a strip club where you don't take your clothes off. And having been a dancer and a go-go dancer, I'm like,
oh, you did dancing?
Well, I mean, here go-go dancing is like basically, you know, basically naked. But in Switzerland, go-go dancers, at least the way I was 20 years ago, dancing in the world, you know, on top of the tubes and stuff. You dress up, you do some fun stuff. But we always had this thing of, you know, when you're young and wild, you want to have a pool in your room. Like now they're doing that shit. When I was 20, it was like frowned upon. Now it's like I see my friends posting their kids with pool dancing. I'm like, there's a future right there.
No, I'll definitely.
Frankly, so I heard about this, and then I came out here taking classes of Millennium. I'm here all my beats on the Microsoft. But let me put this on your side. Taking classes at Millennium, Millennium Dance Complex.
No, I don't. Look, there's it.
Well, all dancers come out here for the Millennium Dance Complex. That was now with the internet posting on Instagram and stuff, million followers. So I met this Italian chick that was like screaming in Italian while she was parking in the car. I was like, last night I had to prostitute myself to make rent. But that in Italian, so nobody but me and my friends understood her.
Was she trying to tell you, or she just sounding?
It's just Italians were silly like that. So she's just shouting it out, because nobody would understand her. So eventually I went up to her and I'm like, where are you working at? So she's like, oh, at the strip club. That is not a strip club.
So it was a go-go spot?
It's a strip club, but without taking your clothes off. And you're not men aren't allowed to touch you and everything. So I tried it for a month. I met Sting. I met people from, maybe I shouldn't even name them, but I remember arguing with Steve. Remember Steve from Jackass? I'd be like in the back arguing with Steve or literally God in the universe. Like if God existed and stuff while I'm in like a bikini.
I can see that being a conversation.
So I did that for like a month, but I wasn't making money because people just loved talking to me. I'm chatty and I'd be like sitting down with them and they'd be like, I want to take you out for lunch. I was like, okay, I'm too silly and probably too smart to be a stripper. I did say that. That's probably too a stripper. It doesn't work.
And stripping her down.
No, but you have to like you are. And I'm too stupid on that part. Like I would be like trying to have a conversation and they would couldn't do it. And then I would get like sit down and people started liking me as a person and be like, oh, let's take.
So you're the type of stripper that Drake makes a song about.
I don't know. I don't know.
Lil Wayne. Wayne said,
probably.
What's your real name? And not your stripper name.
Yeah. I would probably I used to give away my real name. It's like, yeah, it was silly. So I was like, all right, that's not my hustle. So I went on Craigslist and put some language classes out. And that's how the language teaching and everything started.
Well, when we say accents, I was more so it's like, how are you getting into like teaching accents? Too, I have a background as an actor. And so it's like, people don't necessarily think about an actor having to learn how to do that accent.
Yeah.
There's somebody who teaches it.
Well, that's how it, gradually became something. First you're teaching languages and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, can you do this? And like, sure. And then I started doing accent coaching and now I'm accent coaching the stars. So I just did Terry Crews in
What was the accent?
Portuguese. I just found the video too. It's on, you can see it on YouTube. Is that Shopee in Brazil? They have Amazon, but they also have Shopee. And so he did commercials for them.
Okay.
So I did that. And yeah, some more people. I still dipping on my sake.
I'm not mad at it. Once you finish, I'll be ready for my.
I see you watching me. Like, hurry!
I just got done doing an episode. I had 4 of those already.
I'm
cool.
You're like,
all right. I'm more in the refrigerator. I'm here all night.
You know where you at, right? Like you've been doing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on what's that show with the hot wings? Where
different flavors stuff.
The guy is so used to eating like he just asks like questions.
Yeah.
Like you're like,
yeah, no, we could drink like a whole 2 of these.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna be sitting here like I was just telling the last 2. The very first few I did, I tried to kill 4 whole cans. Like we killed the 4-pack. The first like 3 or 4, we killed the 4-pack in an hour or under. Chatty Catholics. Yeah, no. I'm just kidding.
I'm just like,
what's wrong for you? Like you said,
that had 2 probably.
You feel me? So yeah. And I always feel everything around what's coming at me as opposed to
but you can talk. I'm so quiet. I'm such a quiet little mouse. So yeah, tell me about you.
If you have a question on it.
Yeah,
I hate tell me about you. It's like that's putting it all on me to tell you. What do you want to know?
That's how people do it though. Like, yeah.
What do you want? All right, I'll tell you about me. I grew up in Worcester, Ohio. I was born February 16th. Like this.
Have I ever been on a date? That's how guys do it.
No,
that's how guys do it.
Never.
That's why I don't go on a date.
I've ended up finding out like everything without asking any questions. You get me? Like,
tell me about you.
The relationship you have with your dad and you know me, and I didn't even ask you, do you like your mom or your dad? I'm not about to take those questions.
So when you're on a date, like, do you like your mom or your dad? Do you like your mom or your dad?
I love both of them.
Okay.
You want me to say? Yeah, I talked to both of them back to back the other day.
But what happens when somebody says, I don't like my mom? You're like straight up judging them.
No, I'm just like,
What's wrong with you?
no, we're talking about this right now. We're on our first date anyway.
What about second date?
No,
No, you're still not.
the first 3 days, I just want to see if you can even have a normal conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. So if somebody actually starts talking about their mom and dad, it just stays on the first date.
Not necessarily. It's just like, why are we talking about this? I'm not insensitive, so
Yeah.
it's an emotional point. And clearly, you're vulnerable enough to talk to me about something. So I'm going to let you finish. I might ask a question or two, but this is not the trajectory of my night. We're not about to be sad.
Yeah.
I might be able to chime in on the subject.
Okay. So you're not judging them based on
I don't judge people.
dad needs.
My God.
You know.
I could decide whether or
I
not
like that answer.
that big. And that has nothing to do with your issues. You can have all your issues. You have a container for them that doesn't impede on mine today.
Right.
That's the conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? If your container is big enough and you got a lid, I got a lid too. When it's time to eat, you both come and decide what's on the table tonight. You feel me?
Talking about eating, you cook.
I could.
Isn't it funny? Like in LA, men cook, women don't cook. Every time I ask a woman if she cooks, so like 9 times out of 10, she's like, she don't cook. I'm like, what are you doing then?
I feel like it's just expected. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta cook. What do you cook?
Food.
See, I switched over. Now the interview is about you. Food. So you eat meat. See, you don't eat meat. So what do you cook?
Why?
I'm interested. I like to
Why?
cook because I like to cook. If I cook for you, if we're switching this around, it's gonna be, instead of sake, it's gonna be food.
No, this is not
No.
about me.
Well, like, you're allowed to be asking. What?
All right. So,
Okay. Back to
where you're funny.
well, you're how many sakes in? You said.
Couldn't tell you.
Well, I'm taking advantage.
Not really. I really.
You're riding the wave. You know, you're surfing.
I feel pretty.
No, I mean like if there is a wave, you're not to surf, you're surfing, you're chilling. No?
Yeah.
You're not chilling? You're ready?
Chilling, but I'm
Okay.
not on the way.
Okay, I'm gonna let you ask a question.
Are you?
I'm ready.
Oh,
I'm ready. I came prepared. Go ahead. I'm ready.
I was always free to.
I just came prepared.
Oh, you got a fan. All right, cool. All right.
I knew it was gonna be hot.
You already 60s.
I had sensed it. It's hot today. So
No, it was
Hot
higher
day.
than 4. Really.
yeah, it's a hot day today.
Nah, yeah. Well, you said you engineered.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been doing that?
12-ish years as an engineer, but music, 25.
What do you start?
I tore my ACL.
That's so funny. The last guest, he tore something playing football,
Mhm.
and he started making music after.
I think a lot of people have a similar story. It's like, you're creative and you're something talented anyways, So I was dancing and I tore my ACL and I was into music anyways and sang and everything and met these 2 guys from Vegas straight up in Switzerland. And they invited me to come over to their studio. I was 16. Could have gone the wrong way because like we're walking into a parking structure and I'm like, where am I going? Like you go in behind a car and there's a door. And then I finally saw the NPC and I was like, okay, we're going to the studio. And so, yeah, that's how I started. I started singing with the LU squad in Switzerland. Like it was like a hip hop crew. When I managed to dance again, I started dancing again, but then ballet was over. So
Do you mean it was over? Like it wasn't popular?
no, it was over for me, a ballerina, because I wanted to be a ballerina. But that was over, so I just danced, whatever. I could dance to hip hop and, go-go and shows and stuff. I still did that, but I would sing and rap, and I was like at the time, the only female rapper that I know of that was...
So you got bars.
I mean, I wasn't the only female rapper, but I was the only female rapper that rapped in English. I had a lot of American friends who would cipher together and stuff.
You still got bars?
I don't freestyle. Used to freestyle, but I used to cheat it.
Well, written stuff you just remember?
Yeah, like just mix and match. But yeah, I haven't done that in forever. I haven't done these battles. And then I became like the host of the battles and stuff.
You used to battle with...
Yeah, I used to battle.
That's funny.
They probably don't remember me, but Redman and Method Man used to come to Switzerland, and I danced for their show, like, or for their art after party. And so they were doing ciphers, and they, like they always been, Method Man and Redman. And so I remember meeting them and doing, like, I was cocky as hell.
What's your craziest memory of meeting them? Or like story of them?
They were not the crazy ones. I think like they were very like they just loved to come to Switzerland. Like I thought crazy was that they wanted to spend New Year's in Switzerland. I was like, why do you want to be here? It's like I didn't want to be there. So I was like, why would you want to be here? And so now I see it, I was like, one of the richest countries in the world. Sure, you want to be there. But at the time I was just confused on why they kept coming for New Year's and tour Switzerland when they could tour anywhere else, So that was wild to me. Yeah. I just remember them being extra into, like, they would rap and just, yeah, they were professional. Wild was, because as I said, we would be always at the after party, the official after party. So, the talents would show up. And one time it was Busta Rhymes and Spliff was hanging out, his bestie. Busta Rhymes' bestie. His nickname is Spliff, and he was hanging out. And there was like this homegirl that was, all up into him and being a groupie. And he was just sitting there, like you're sitting there with her in the middle. And instead of passing her the blunt, he passed it to, like I was over here sitting on the couch and he kept passing me the blunt and he smoked and he was like touching all over her and just kept smoking with me. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm never going to forget that. And I was always like that, where it was like I wasn't trying to be the groupie or be seen as that, but it was cool that I was like, oh, I was the homie on the couch, pressing the blunt, smoking the spirit.
So
Like, what's around spicy?
how do you feel like those experiences like shaped you to who you are now?
I think because I was there and I was in my head, I needed to be over here, but I met all these people already over there. I met we would have like choreographers that worked with Name Drop, coming out there giving workshops, and we would hang out with them. And so when we came over here, we stayed at their house and we hung out with them. So in my head, I never got starstruck or anything like that because I was so used to seeing them and being around them. So I think that's what helped me over here. Like when I'm teaching or when I'm acting coaching and somebody calls me for, Name Drop, or if I'm working as a sound on set and working with big names, I don't get, there might be one or two that I get nervous because they're my idols, but I've learned also that even your idols are just normal people when you meet them, Because like in the hip hop industry, it's like I'm very nerdy, so I never looked at like the sexual side of it. So I would meet like my idols over here, like a rap idol, right? And they felt like they wanted, again, date me or something, and I'm here like just fanning on like trying to get to know them or find out like how to collaborate with them or whatever. And I think that's what kept me a little bit different from other people because I just never got the hint.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of similar. Whereas like my whole life, I've never gone into situations trying to figure out like anything romantic or sexual.
Yeah.
Come into it intellectually.
Right.
And so many things have just gone over my head. My mom would even tell me like, up until I left Ohio, 25, 26, yeah. We would just be out somewhere and she'd be like, that girl is looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
I already know her.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, nah, girl, Charlie. And it took me and being in situations where the same person was like, whisper something in my ear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Guess my mom was right. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about it. It
Yeah.
mattered to me, bro. It's not what I came for. Like,
Yeah, sometimes you're too busy calculating how to get the next whatever.
you
You want to be creative and,
yeah.
you know, like, I mean, I came here by myself from Switzerland, so I ain't got no time for, like, for me, it's like, I never wanted to be, I would hear these stories, you know, and I was like, I don't want to be that. I want to work, you know, so
Really?
even the fact that I'm a sound engineer, it was like, people would invite me over to the studio. Oh, let's record a song. And then you just become the couch girl. And I'm like, there, okay, I'm rolling up a blunt. And then I started becoming I was like, if I'm going to go to the studio, I might as well sell some weed.
You feel me? It makes money.
So the thing is that I grew up with guys. And so later in life, it's really hard to be friends with guys. I'm a sound engineer. I work with guys all the time. But growing up, I wanted to do the things that guys did. Oh yeah, we haven't muted that.
All right.
So growing up, I wanted to do what guys did. Like I would want to play soccer with them. I would want to play basketball with them. I got bullied a lot, and you know I was the only one that looked like me. My mom was the only black person in that. This was in Switzerland.
Okay.
So I was born in Italy, but then we moved to Switzerland.
Oh,
I was like 8 when we moved to Switzerland. So I was getting beat up in school every day, you know. So at some point I realized that it was the girls, you know, like the girls are gossipy. The girls are, you know, they don't have nothing better to do.
You know, you was getting beat up every day?
Oh yeah. They were waiting for me. There's like, oh, it was tough.
Oh, you learned
My childhood.
dance?
No, I never learned how to.
Thought-
No, I have, but I still have those dreams where I punch like,
Slow.
yeah. I just like, yeah.
Sorry, they traumatized me.
I mean, made me who I am, but like, I think like, yeah, like what I learned was like, if you're friends with the boys and you're into what they're into and you don't dress all girly, they're not all, you know, like like men just focus on one thing, you know? And so there is no like, she's smart. And then, you know, like I learned that as a kid. And so I would play basketball, I would play soccer, I would have conversations with them about cars. And, you know, so I was like me and the homies, you know. So I just, you know, coming out here and trying to be in music is like, oh, sit down on my couch. And then other people would come in and say, I want to do that. It's like, how do I become more like Missy? And so once, you know, fast forward, I managed to get my green card and everything. I went to school for sound. Now I bump into those people at the Grammys. So that's kind of fun too.
How long have you been engineering? Like, when did you decide to go to school?
I went to school in 2000 and I started at the end of 2011 and graduated in 2013 as valedictorian.
Okay.
I went to the recording school that is now just part of the film school.
Mhm.
At the time, we only had an audio department. It was just engineering. Now they have like production and all kinds of stuff.
You produce as well?
Yeah, of course I produce my own music. Sometimes I produce other people. I definitely want to work more, not like with the strike last year, because I was more in film. Just to be honest, I came out of school and it was women telling me, we don't hire women here. Telling you, it's always the girls. It's the women that say we can't have a woman in president, okay? It's not the men, it's the women. And I would go to studios and I would interview and they would say the strangest things from, we don't hire women. If you want to work here, you're going to work in the office. Hey, girls are stupid. Like, I've heard it all.
So that's straight to you?
I've heard it all. And I was like, which one are you? You know what I'm saying? So in film, it's always been like, oh, we want to see more women. So even though they pay less, they still hire. And so it's been almost 12 years of doing film sound and I do post-production and stuff like that. So I've always made my music, mixed and mastered a little bit, mainly doing film sound. But last year we had a strike and work has not come in as much yet. So to me, it's a blessing and the curse because I get to network more with music and I got back to performing. And
What was your last performance?
I just had one last Saturday.
How'd it go?
I actually had 2 and they both went well.
You were back to back?
Yeah.
You said double feature. Oh, you said it at the beginning. They know who I am.
Nobody knows who I am. I feel like I'm street famous in Hollywood,
Yeah.
you know, because I've been here a long time. So, you know, if I walk out, especially in North Hollywood or Hollywood, like there might be somebody calling my name and be like, "Well, oh, what's up?" But I'm not famous like that. Like it's just like,
Nobody's pressing for you on the internet.
no, hopefully not.
You don't want to be? Like, I don't say want to be or not want to be. You don't think you would like to be internationally known?
For the right reasons. You know, I always said I want to be more like Mother Teresa famous than Kim Kardashian famous. You know, um, I want to be famous for a reason, not just to be known.
Yeah.
And I feel like even Mother Teresa would have haters. So at least like I would know, like knowing yourself, knowing what you've done for the world, then it's less hard to handle than just being famous. So for me, it's like I want to be known for a good reason, not just like, I mean, I rather like I can make money, you know, we don't have to be famous making money. That's why I was like, I always wanted to be more the producer than the talent, but I'm still a talent. If you look at my Instagram, I don't have those 30,000 followers up. You know, it's like the people that follow me know me. I perform and I've performed samba in this town, you know, been around and do stuff. So I've done things in the public eye. But yeah, I kind of, it has to be, especially now with the social media, everybody having an opinion about everything. You know, like Simone Biles can't even like jump for a second, get a medal without people talking about her hair, you know. I think if it happens to me now, at least I'm ready, I'm old enough. But I feel bad for these young girls that have to deal with everybody's opinion right now that don't know what to do with all that fame. Because like there's people that getting instant fame for no reason. I think those the two girl. She probably wasn't even intentional with
Oh, innocent job
really.
stuff now.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, but you get to a point where it's like, oh, you have all this fame and you weren't even ready. And that goes like messes with your head, you know. So she'll get tired for a second, or it might just get tiring. She might just disappear, but
Probably disappeared.
you know, but sometimes it's that. And that's why, you know, when you think of Simone Biles got all that, people talk all this bad stuff about her just because she needed a mental break, you know, and look at her now. But sometimes you need that break to just realize like like who you are to yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man, day on Instagram is like,
Do you feel like you had to take a break in between, like finding where you are now and like deciding, okay, this is my path as being in the music industry with everything, with being a dancer and wanting to do dance and then wanting to be in music and wanting to engineer and then figuring out like artistry? Like, did you take a step away from all creative stuff and said, let me?
I've taken a big step away from performing my own music.
Yeah.
It's been about like the first time I performed after Big Break was 2012. And before that, I performed my music in 2014. So I took 8 years of break of my own music. I still performed. And as I said, I went back to dancing and stuff, but I got burned out from, you know, organizing everything. And I had dancers, I had musicians coming on me, but you're always arguing with somebody. You're always, you know, and my last show, it was actually successful, but we were literally arguing like 2 seconds before, like with the dancer, 2 seconds before going on the show. And I was doing people's makeup. I was taking care of, like, you know, I was managing it. I was the artist. I was everything. And I kind of got burned out on that. And so now coming back slowly and not having to deal with 10 million dancers, where I'm like, my philosophy is basically like, if a comedian can go on stage and not even make music and own the stage, you should be able to just have your beat on and perform. And before, I was really about like, because I was such a performer, I thought that I needed everybody on stage with me. You know, I always wanted that big show. And so now I'm having more fun with it, just being me on stage and entertaining. And I'm like, oh shit, I am an entertainer. You know, I can do this. I can entertain without all of that. And so I think that now if I have if I start building on that again, then it's not that big of a burnout. But I feel like I give up every day once. You come out here and it's like you work on this so much. And then you have that moment of like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then somebody calls you for a podcast. And I was like, okay, I go for the podcast. I've given up performing like at least once a week.
Wow.
Because it's a lot of work. And sometimes you feel like, man, my mom is always like, you're so smart. You should have been a doctor. She's never been supportive. Like even today I talked to her about like, AI is taking over a lot and stuff. And she's like, oh, you can always come over here and work for me. It's like, right. Like I'm going to do that, and that's what it is like, I used to have a job in Switzerland, I used to do it all. And so even at 20, I was like, I can't do it all the time. At some point, I'm going to burn out, like having a full-time job, trying to go to the studio. I was barely sleeping. And so I felt like LA is the city where if you want to work in the industry and if you're someone that has multiple talents, you can make a living. And so I've been making a living. But it's not easy because I don't have an Uber job. Like a lot of people have an extra job on the side. This is all I do. It's like I want to hustle, but not the street for the city.
It's like making dope.
Yeah.
Audio dope.
Yeah, I am though. Like what you see is what you get, So I feel like I'm real when it comes down to that. Whereas like a lot of people are saying they're somebody, oh, I know this person, I know that person, and then they're most of the time not doing anything creative. So.
A moth just flew in my shirt.
Well, little. You must smell like flowers.
Fresh.
It's hot in here. It's like I was not expecting this heat.
The fan makes noise. It was cooler when you walked in. It was cooler when you walked in.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have the AC on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a Withstein person. Like, we need. You know what? I'm getting the taste of my own medicine. Because I'll be on set like we gotta turn the AC, and they're like, this is get really hot. I'm like, we gotta turn.
This long pick up.
You want to do ADRs? We gotta do. You got ADR?
Like 80% sure. The sound will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Before posting.
Right.
But I can control it, so I'm not.
I mean, it's on you, man.
Oh, we can turn it on. We can turn it back on.
Instead, I do this to people all the time, so I'm getting the taste of my own right now.
Before you,
because like when you're working, when you're behind the camera, you don't care that you're sweating. Right now it's like
what you look like right now.
No, I'm literally feeling the sweat coming into my eye, and if I'm like,
I don't want you to be sitting here thinking about that.
When you get the sweat, the mustache, the sweat mustache. I'm like, I got a sweat mustache. You're about to see that I got hair on my lips. I don't do the waxing over the lips, so it's like it's gonna stick out.
Well, yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah. It's just in my head, I hear it, but there's been times where I didn't notice it was on, and I did a whole episode.
Yeah,
it wasn't detrimental.
It's not too bad, and it's back there. You're gonna hear it. I don't know how good these microphones are.
Yeah.
Are they pretty good?
Yeah.
What's the brand? Can we say? You don't even know how to say the
pros. Like you looked at it and you're like, oh, that's a road, and I'm like,
well, because they look just like that. Yeah. Well, I was missing the writing on it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, but
it's same shape and like.
And it's fine that I have it on my lap, but not on.
I actually kind of like using it sometimes a little further.
Oh yeah.
And me, yeah.
I'm loud anyways. It's like I'm just. Oh, you got battery dying over there. You need
long battery.
That low battery, it's gonna die on you.
Trying to test it. Give me a sec. Time. So, let's see. What do you consider yourself when people ask you what do you do?
It depends on the situation. Well, lately I just say most of the time I say I'm a sound engineer and a linguist, just to keep it simple. But it really depends on the situation, Like, am I trying to sell something right now? Or am I just trying to sound smart? Because I do prefer being a sound engineer than a dancer when it comes down to like the rooms that I'm in. I like people to know that I'm an artist, but on a professional level, it's like, female engineer. There's not a lot of us out there. I'm a woman of color. I'm a linguist. I speak eight languages. That's usually the same. Like that's like if I'm talking to older people, like the OGs in the industry, that's what I sell. I speak languages, and and then people start telling me where they've been. They'll be like, "Oh, I've been to Italy," and then I can name drop. But it was like, "Oh, have you been there?" Or like, I'll be like, "Oh, I've been to Monaco." I was like, "Have you seen the cars on the street? Have you seen the Lamborghinis?" And because I've been there. So like, yeah, that's what I usually name drop, not people. Be like, location. Where have you been in the world? You heard it. I've often talking about Brazil, Italy, Switzerland. That's my sales. It's like people usually think I'm Puerto Rican from New York, and then some racist people start talking like this. Like they change attitude the moment I say I'm from Switzerland. It's very funny. And then they start saying the racist shit, like because I'm light skinned, they forget, and then they give away how racist they are. I love it. If you listen, you'll find out so much about people. Because I talk, but I can listen too. So, I think that's the secret. Like when you're around, depending on the situation, I know I'm here to be interviewed, entertain, or whatever. But if I'm having I'm an entertainer too. So it's like, that's like I like being chatty and being silly. But when you're having a conversation with someone on the street or at an event or whatever, and you ask them about them, and you start letting them know that you're not what you thought what they thought you were, and you become a little bit more interesting to them. They start giving away so much information about themselves.
From everything you just said, it just sounds like you think 5 times more than I do. I have a
right. I have to. I'm a woman in this town. I gotta figure out the situation real quick, like an undercover cop. Where am I? What's happening? I've had people thinking I was an undercover, probably because the way I move and talk and stuff. Like I've had friends that to this day they're like, "You sure you're not an undercover?" I'm like, "You're such an undercover that I'm under the cover of the undercover."
Huh? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Even like slide. Sneak criminal.
Wait, no, what's smooth criminal? That's Michael. Smooth operator is Sade. Both smooth operator.
What are some of your favorite credits?
It's hard to say one's favorite artist.
So some.
I feel like the father of my music is Michael Jackson and the mother of my music is Madonna, but there's so many different influencers in between, because when I'm thinking of like where it started, who I had on the wall when I was 6, it was Madonna and Michael. But then I discovered when I was like 8, my mom gave me her vinyl player. I think it was a way for her to bond with me. I stole that shit. It lived in my room, and she showed me how to put a vinyl on, and it was Whitney Houston's album, the first album that she came out with, and I was so in love with that album, and I would play it and play it and play it. And so, and then I just love music, so it goes from like rock to,
Very rock artists, you can name more than one.
I mean, I can say who's drops in my head. Are those the favorite? I don't know. But if I think of my teenage years, I listened to a lot of Skunk and Nancy. American people don't really know who they are. They're English. But if you if you watched The Matrix, you've heard the Prodigy and Skunk and Nancy, which had like a similar type of music with Sugar. Like you probably don't know what that is.
It's right.
That's metal.
Wow.
So I go all over the place. Like I eat music for breakfast. Like being obsessed with music since I was a kid.
What started the obsession?
My mom is Brazilian, so I think it's the drums that started first. Like she put me into ballet when I was 4. She just wanted me to do something bougie. So it became like classical music. Like the sound of the piano makes me happy. But the sound of the drums make me happy. Like I'm not Brazilian until I hear samba. Then then it's like, oh yeah, I'm Brazilian, My mom would take me to Brazil once a year, and oftentimes it was carnival season. She would want.
Oh, explain what carnival is for people. Explain what carnival is.
Well, carnival, like, I'm going to start, like, I'm going to give you a real explanation of what carnival is because it's actually a Catholic thing. It's actually a Catholic Christian thing. So carnival exists in Italy, Italy with the Venice Carnival, with the Venice Mass. I'm thinking of, I'm trying to see which movies have, like, every time they go to Venice, they go during that season to kind of act like that's what they do at Vegas at that mass. But that's just for a season. It's a carnival season. So it's the Virgin season for the Christians. It started in like the Romans had it and then the Catholics took over. And so with the, European taking over American continent and South America and North America and all of that, it was a thing in Brazil and it was a thing in a lot of, you know, Latin American countries where like Christianity is still a big thing. Like that's why in New Orleans you still have Mardi Gras. That is Fat Tuesday. That is the carnival season. And so I think it started with Trinidad was first with all the feathers and stuff like that, and then Brazil where they mixed with the Native Americans and the African culture of the slaves. And now we have what people travel for in Brazil and they go to Sao Paulo and they go to Salvador Bahia and they come to New Orleans and Carnival. And a lot of people exactly don't know that it's actually a religious thing. It's a virgin season. And then we have Ash Wednesday and that's when we stop eating. And then we go into Lent. It's like a fasting season, prayer and fasting. And then Easter comes in. But then the Brazilian carnival has a lot of samba and a lot of naked women, almost naked. But what I love about it is that when I'm doing a show with those feathers and with those headpieces, first it reminds me of my childhood. When I was a kid, I was always like, how do you become that somebody's, as kids, like, you don't see naked, you see gods, you see Amazons, then you see like, it's just like amazing. And I always like had as I said, I started ballet when I was 4. So I always wanted to be on stage, like. And so when I do that, I see that there is a difference between when I was dancing go-go and doing that, where men actually feel like they can touch and they can be naughty, versus when even a man sees all this feather and all this stuff, they become little kids and so it's fun to also entertain people because even though it's, just the bikini outfit is so big that just like people just like you just become a different person. It's like a bird. It's a dancing bird on stage, So yeah, so I love seeing people's faces. Like people get really, really happy when they see something. It makes people happy.
I remember what you were saying before. Like what led to carnival and we asked you to explain it.
So what led me to
what question led you to bring in carnival for that?
Bring me Brazil carnival season. I started telling about my mom taking me to Brazil, and that's why music started.
You started with carnivals.
Like the
being
drum,
in those experiences.
because like samba is all about drums, and so that's why also like for me, like I go from classical music to rock to like I know a lot of music. Like I have DJ friends that call me and be like, "What's that song?" And they start humming it to me. I'm like, "I know which one. Let me find it," and they'll call them back. Be like a song from the 90s or.
What's your favorite thing about music university?
About music, what?
University.
So every time I'm frustrated about the human creation and then I hear music, I'm like, man, we are able to be that though. And then it makes me go another day. I think it's this, because like we're capable of so much. And basically everything you look at is actually creation, right? There's someone being creative. Everything we do, everything we see, even like the sake, somebody came up with that. So we are very creative people. But then when you turn the news on or even Instagram or whatever, it's like there's so much crazy going on and people are so dumb. And so sometimes it really gets me upset, and I don't know what to do. And I feel frustrated that I don't know how to help it. And then I hear a song and I'm like, somebody did that. And there's musicians that play that, or even just like a symphony, like it works together. It's all these musicians playing together. And because I'm an engineer, I always see the engineer as the god of music, because without the engineer, things wouldn't work. Things wouldn't sound.
Explain to people as simple as you can what it is that an engineer is and does.
I mean, there are different type of engineers,
Audio engineer.
you know. I mean, audio engineers, but there are different jobs in audio engineering. But from setting up the microphones to, you know, recording you, to mixing the music, to mastering the music, to in film is literally everything that you hear is recreated and reproduced. So it starts with the sound producer, like the sound producer, the production sound on set. So you have the sound mixer, the boom operator. Boom operator. I've been that a lot. So I can hold up a boom for a long time.
So it's just strong.
I'm strong. And then being a female, I have to constantly prove that I'm just as good as a male. So boom op. And then you might have a utility on set, but sound on set gets very undervalued when it comes down to it. But when you watch a movie, if the picture sucks, it can be a static picture. But if the sound is good, it's a great movie. But you can have the best picture. If the sound sucks, the movie sucks. And so that's the same thing on stage. Like if you want anything you watch on TV or, you know, like live TV, sometimes like they'll do something live and I'm like, man, that engineer is killing it, you know, because like that, those are the things that people don't think. You know, broadcasting engineers have to move real quickly, you know.
When I was saying explain audio engineer, I meant for studios.
But that's basically, yeah.
But
that's
know
what I do.
Is a whole
But
different types.
That's what I do, you know, like my main thing is film is what I do. So I know that there is so many parts to everything you hear. So if you watch a movie, you might have the music, but then you have everything else is recreated. From the silence is also recreated. Like when you were talking about you're going to take the AC out, that's part of the engineer. So you're a little bit of an engineer too.
Yeah.
You know, shut up. So that's why I say like I'm like the engineer is the sound, the god of the sound, because nobody thinks of God until shit hits the face. You know, if something doesn't sound right, you could just say like, "Oh man, this sounds fat," you know.
But if it sounds good, nobody thinks anything.
He thinks of you, and so you're secretly making money. You know. You know, when you're good at something, the quality goes up. You ask more. So like when you get more experience, you start asking more. And you know, again, like if you look at my Instagram, I have 4,000 followers, but I'm really good at my job. You know, and I've been doing it for a while. So that's the engineer. I was like, so if you're in music, it's still the person that makes you sound good. You know, it can be the best voice if the microphone is not placed right. You know, even a Whitney Houston wouldn't sound great. You know, maybe it's hard to not make Whitney Houston look great.
The mic could just be our way. We turn that up. It's
still gonna kill it. But you can have the wrong microphone. You can have, you know, this microphone could be static, you know, and then our whole interview is not going to be heard, and all of this would be for nothing. And you can have a pretty picture, but if the sound isn't there, talking about sound, yeah, the engineer. Do I have to repeat that for the camera?
No. You see people be like, when it comes to music and like dealing, so the whole point of this podcast is to simplify it. You feel me? You got started by saying, I love music.
Right.
And now you have a degree and you worked in all different fields, right. What you do.
Right.
So for someone who's like, all right, well, I don't even know what I want to do, or I think I want to work in music, what's the engineer do? Let me just tell you really simply, you're going to do a lot. You feel me?
Right.
And so the whole podcast is for me to show people like you can hold positions
right.
in industries, in any industry.
Right.
And it's way simpler than you think it is.
Right.
And I want to bring it to a level where anyone can feel inspired to start the journey. That's why I said make it simple.
But that's why I said also, in film, there are many different jobs. Because if you think about all the different, you know, when, let's say a major, you know, a major movie, like big budget movie, everything gets recreated, but it's not the same engineer.
Right.
You know, so if you need a voiceover, if you need to go in and redo your, like you, let's say you're the actor and you have to redo your part because the sound isn't great from production, that's going to be a different engineer than the engineer on set. And that's the ADR. If you're like all this movement that I'm doing, that's Foley. But if I'm throwing this towards the wall and let's say this is an action movie, you're going to have effects on that. And all of those are jobs, you know? And so if you're talking about people looking into it, it's like there's so many jobs in engineering. There is not just music. And that's why I said, like, I managed to survive in this town because I don't have just one job. I stay open to different jobs. Even in music, you have the recording engineer, you have the mixer, you have the mastering engineer, and those don't necessarily have to be the same person. Matter of fact, it's better if it's not the same person, at least for mastering. You can have the recording engineer being the mixer if they're good at what they do, but you might want different ears for the mastering. If you can do everything, it's great. You could save money, you know? But if you have the budget, there are people that are just mastering engineers. Even in music, you're still staying in music, you have the front of house engineer, which is the live sound person. So if you go on, right. So if you go on tour, it's not going to be the same person that was in the studio with you. I've done that a little bit, but not as much. Well, I've been a front of house engineer, but not for big shows, right? Like I've done it for church. I've done it for like big, smaller productions, smaller theaters. But I haven't done. I like it. It's very nerve-wracking because it's in the moment, and I haven't done it as much, you know. So I get a little bit more nervous.
You can mess up. You don't want to mess.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up and stuff. But even there is like when you have a little bit of a bigger show, you show up. There is the front of house engineer that shows up, and then there are the technicians that set up. Also, I've set up the show because I've done smaller things. But if you have a bigger performance, there is the technician that shows up and sets up everything, and the front of house engineer just shows up to work. So those are jobs. And you have the monitoring engineer that does either the monitors, the in-ear monitors, or everything. The in-ear as the when you're on stage, you have the monitors that face you, the speakers that face you. That's a different engineer on bigger shows than the engineer that is in the middle of the crowd mixing for the crowd. So that's the front of house engineer and monitoring engineer. So there are a lot of jobs that have to do with sound that people don't think of that have to do with an engineer. A lot of people just think of the engineer in the studio recording you, maybe mixing and mastering. But what I like to make people aware of is that the producer is not necessarily the engineer and not necessarily the beat maker. If you have a real producer, it's the person that knows the pieces that needs to come together and puts it together, hires the people. So when you have, like, again, bigger productions for music, you might have someone being hired as the producer of a song, and that might not be the one that made the beat and not the one that is recording. It's just the person hiring everybody and making sure everything sounds good. They got the ears, they got the knowledge, you know. So oftentimes people mistake a producer with a beat maker. Well, I'm looking for a producer. Like, are you looking for beats? Or are you looking for someone that has the knowledge of everything and you're going to pay them to do all of that? Because then you need the budget. Right? The beat maker is a composer, is the songwriter with you on EMI, so you can make a deal on that. But if you want a producer, that you need the budget for that. So sometimes that's the one that gets mistaken for the engineer. I actually changed on my Instagram today. I was like, I should post producer because I'm not getting enough work right now for film, for sound. So I'm like, now I need to dumb it down for some people, some artists, that like I'm a producer, because a lot of people don't know what the sound engineer is. Like they might have heard the word engineer, but a lot of people think that that's the producer. I used to think that that was the producer. Because when you're young, when you have those like 19, 20-year-old artists that want to record a song,
right?
They think that that's the producer that is, I'm looking for a producer with a production studio. They don't know that it's
the producer is the person who's going to make their song, like recorded and everything. Yeah, it's like
And so you need all
that's not necessary. Yeah, no.
and so I've made that experience that a lot of people don't know that. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change to producer because I know the parts. I am producer, I've been a producer for film and music. So
do you think it would just open up the pool of people who you can reach out?
I think so because not everybody, not to make like I don't think not knowing is dumb.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just with the fact that they see it.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
I had sound engineer before because, as I said, it was like as a film, sound, and music. In music and film, like you have a lot of people that know what a sound engineer is, and a producer will be looking for a sound engineer. So that's what I was literally doing. But I'm like, well, let's upgrade because I can produce a song, but I don't want to produce film. I like to make music. So yeah. Any other question? Your turn. It's still hot though. I think the heat made it in here. But 107 degrees W. Wait, it's 104. That's like 40 degrees Celsius. That's the heat.
Good thing not that much.
I just after 20 years here, I work in Celsius, 38, 40 degrees. I serve it.
Sorry, Port.
See, I love to savor on the sake.
Maybe the drink is some.
It's because it's like wine. It's like it's just a little more strong wine. It has this nice flavor. Shooting down. Yeah.
You still dance?
Yeah.
How do you feel like?
But yeah.
How do you feel like dance ties into your creativity and like the music world?
Well, dance is the first passion. So I think dance is my God-given gift. Like when I hear music, I can dance. I don't question it. Like, oh, can I dance? As soon as I hear music, I can dance. Like when it comes to singing, I started, later. It became like you start learning lyrics and stuff. So I still get nervous. But when it's about dance, if you hire me for a samba show, I'm not even getting nervous. I'm excited to go on stage, but there is no anxiety involved in that.
Do you feel like anything from dance transferring into your creativity music?
Yeah, if you listen to my music, it's a lot of rhythmic stuff, Like you can hear the Latin sounds coming into my music. Like there's a lot of influence in that. I like faster, even in my slow song. I think I'm gonna have some faster rhythms, So I think I always feel like I need to be able to dance to the music that I make. So yeah, it definitely ties together. Running out of questions. All right.
I guess I don't have a lot of connecting points. You feel me? You gave me a lot of information, so I'm trying to figure out how to draw everything together. I'll let you talk more than I did anything. You feel me? So
yeah,
I'm just trying to connect stuff back together.
Like you say, you're from Ohio, right? Did you say Ohio? How long have you been here?
4 years.
4 years? You're still like you just barely like got used to LA. You came 2020? Oh man. So what's your experience? I want to know. I really want to know. It's not even like playing. I really want to know.
I need a better, right?
Well, no, because it's like you came when the whole world changed, So my experience with LA is very like I have a little old school experience with LA, and then it came into the new era. I've been here for a long time, so I feel like I'm Angelina now. I know this town.
What it was when I got here. So
what was it when you got here?
First off, all I do is work, so I wasn't even worried. I don't know. I can't compare it. You feel me? What you have now is what I know LA could be, if that makes sense.
But that's what I'm saying is like, so you came here, you opened your studio, you just started this.
No, so the whole conundrum of a journey. It's like, yes, I was already set up. I'd had a home set up since 2016. I was in Washington right before, and I act, I modeled, I'm a photographer and a videographer. So I just did the same as you, got on Craigslist. And we've been working on my avenues, and it's doors are open. I meet people.
Yeah.
We found it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, it was like everything was slow. It took me 40 minutes to get from OC to LA.
Yeah, driving.
Mm-hmm.
That's fast in LA. 40 minutes from one thing.
I was seeing like
Fast.
5 minutes.
That's fast in LA. It usually takes 2 hours. Like you were that. Yeah.
In and out. There's nobody on the road.
Yeah.
So it's like, how was the experience? No, I'm not leaving. You feel me?
Yeah.
Everybody has their ups and downs. I got to figure out what is next. Because for me, it was literally having someone say, "Oh, you can just right here and figure it out from there." I wasn't even trying to move. He needed a roommate because of COVID.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I had a job still, so I just transferred with my job.
Okay.
It was right after everything
What was your
opened
job?
up from COVID. I was in sales.
Okay.
And so no one wanted to work. I said, I'm trying to get a transfer to California. And he's on the phone with the manager that day.
Yeah.
And so my experience has been divinely guided by that. I'll say that. Like I said, I wasn't planning on moving. Homie said, we have space. Got there, in a 2-bedroom apartment, the other roommate is gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was on his space.
Nice.
They didn't know that was about to happen.
Right.
As soon as that situation wasn't working, it took me all of 2 weeks to figure out where I was going next. And I didn't know anybody in California. Worked at a church. A girl I worked with just called me just to say, what's up? Let me put you in contact with my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, it's divine connections. Even with this, I was telling somebody today, the first time I was in this vicinity, I didn't sign the lease. Second time I was in this vicinity, I was acting in a music video. And I was like, been here before. There's a film studio next door. And so I was in this vicinity, like, I don't know where I'm at right now, but I've been here before. And then the third time I was here was when I was here to sign the lease. And I was looking like, oh, so this is the film studio. And this is the recording studio. I had met the owner of the property a year in advance for me getting the actual space.
Sweet.
My whole life works like that. That's how my experience has been.
It's funny because I do say in LA, if you don't know God, you get to know God. Only people that I know in LA don't believe in God are the people that were born and raised here. They don't believe it, but they're born with luck. And I'm like, wonder why, It's like these are friends that I have that were born here, born and raised here. They just seem to everything work out for them, but they don't believe in God, So it's like
Interesting. Let's even.
Just another lost angel.
No lost angels in this part.
You don't think there is lost angels in LA?
Right here.
Oh, here.
Right in this very
right here, there's lost angels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't speak for other people.
You know what I'm saying? Like in LA, there's I feel like Los Angeles, sure, but it's a lot of lost angels, like people that don't even know.
I feel like a lot of people choose to just do other stuff. I met a woman the other day who promotes the idea of becoming a Lilith.
Wait, what?
Ritualistically.
Wait, say that one more time.
Promotes the idea of adapting the spirit and demeanor and beliefs of the Lilith.